Dune stands as the gutsiest film franchise in development right now, which makes it even better to see how it's maturing and growing into an epic worthy of its ambition. Director Denis Villeneuve again creates sweeping, awe-inspiring, richly detailed entertainment, but what's better is that the storytelling is now catching up. Here, House Harkonnen is continuing to exterminate anyone who stands in their way of harvesting spice on the planet of Arrakis. Paul Atreides, played by Timothy Chalamet, and his mother, Lady Jessica, played by Rebecca Ferguson, were victims of that wrath in part 1 and are now embedded with the desert-dwelling Freeman. The primary plot point here is whether Paul is actually the Messiah prophesied about to bring peace to the desert. His mother is certainly ready to do anything in her power to convert the non-believers, and Freeman leader Stilgar, played by Javier Bardem, also heavily believes. His chief soldier, Chani, played by Zendaya, on the other hand, doesn't go for all this Messiah nonsense. There's been a much touted romance between Paul and Chani, but that's just the half of it. Both Chalamet and Zendaya are captivating together, but the ideas of imperialism and Arrakis being a free state is a part of the relationship where they both seem somewhat unsure of where they both land, and what gives the whole thing dimension. Chalamet has really gotten good here, presenting a conflict within Paul of someone torn between wanting to be a benevolent leader and being somewhat disgusted at the idea of being a leader at all. What shocked me is how forceful this young actor becomes in the second half, and Zendaya becomes both romantic interest, sounding board, and Paul apostate. Paul actually has to prove himself a lot in this movie. Even one fantastic scene where he has to tame and ride one of those gigantic sandworms while also being hit by a massive sandstorm. Another scene where characters hang to a careening helicopter for dear life is another action-packed highlight in a film that has many. Villeneuve has crafted an incredible looking desert epic here, one so expansive and filled with depth that you immediately want to watch the film again to see all that you missed. There are battle sequences with overwhelming scope, the desert life and its inhabitants are eye-popping, and there is even a black and white sequence that feels so controlled, showing how even the sunlight of this place can feel so otherworldly and unique. But I haven't even talked about the many villains in this film yet. Chief among them is the pale Fayed Ratha, played with dead-eyed psychopathy by Elvis's Austin Butler. Ratha has been compared to Heath Ledger's Joker. I wouldn't go that far, but only because he's doing a lot more jockeying for screen time with everyone else. Otherwise, this dude is scary. Butler also does a nice job of imitating the gravelly voice of the man playing his uncle, the Baron Harkonnen, played by Stellan Skarsgård. The Baron and his lair is just another visual marvel here. An ominous and depraved-looking place of decadence, violence, and gluttony. You also can't forget Dave Bautista raging and doing his damnedest to please this man. And then there's Christopher Walken's Emperor and his future-seeing daughter, played by Florence Pugh. This is a film that in general seems too big even for Walken's usual eccentricities, but he tries, while Pugh seems keyed up to be a major player in later films and some other things. Charlotte Rampling, who played a bit role in part 1, also comes more into her role as sort of a Palpatine-esque Reverend Mother who pulls strings from the shadows. The cast is too big here to name everyone, but Josh Brolin, Bardem, Ferguson. I mean, I know I'm missing some names here, but everyone is just doing their hardest with limited screen time given. And also, another one working so damn hard here is Hans Zimmer, who has given this series one of the most unique, haunting, and out there musical scores I've ever heard. I say all this just to say that Villeneuve has already given us 2 films, and I felt so hungry for a third by the midway point of this one that I was basically rooting for an open-ended ending here. This is a movie that had me rabidly begging for more, for there is so much to this story that still seems unexplored. I'm rooting for it. Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. I want more of this series. This is a fantastic movie. I'm giving it an A, guys.